Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome all members and guests to the June 20th, 2023 council meeting and remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised. Please ensure that your phones are on silent mode. For those attending virtually, please mute yourself when not speaking. When called upon to speak, please turn on your camera and unmute yourself. Staff in attendance, please use the Microsoft Teams raise hand feature icon to be called upon and remove it after you're finished speaking. Before we start today's meeting, I'd like to take a quick moment and pay recognition to a community member. It is with sadness that I share with you all that Rudy Stickle has passed away. Rudy was a dedicated and long-serving member of Norfolk County Committee of Adjustment, and he sat on the committee since 2010. He was also committed to agriculture and health positions with numerous organizations, including Ontario Flue-Cured Tobacco Growers Marketing Board. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we'd like to send our condolences to the Stickle family. With that, I call the June 20th, 2023 regular council meeting to order, and we'll start with roll call. It appears that everyone is present with the exception of Councillor Columbus, who sent his regrets for today's meeting. Approval of the agenda and changes to the agenda. Councillor Van Passen has requested that an item from the council and committee meeting minutes be pulled and dealt with separately in the minute portion of the agenda. Council, you have the agenda before you. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda? Moved by Councillor Van Andrieschi, seconded by Councillor Huffman. All in favor? That is carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest today? Seeing none, we have no early closed session items today. I'm looking for a motion to approve consent items 5.1 through to 5.6 as presented. Councillor Michelle, seconded by Councillor Duffy. All in favor? That is carried. We have no presentations or deputations today and no items of communication. So with that, we'll head on over to approval of minutes. Councillor Van Passen has pulled item 8.5.1, the building permit fee review study CS 23090 from the council committee meeting minutes to be addressed separately. Can I have a motion to approve the following minutes? 8.1, special council meeting minutes, June 6, 2023, both open and closed. 8.2, council meeting minutes, May 16th, 2023, open and closed. 8.3 workshop minutes from April 25th, 2023, and 8.4 council and committee meeting minutes, June 13th, 2023, closed. Moved by Councillor Duffy, seconded by Councillor Van Andrieschi. All in favor? And Councillor Van Passen, do you have a motion respecting 8.5.1?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. The staff report is recommending some permit fee changes, and I would like to add another clause to that recommendation. And further, that staff investigate other service delivery options which may offer operational efficiencies. It's one thing to keep raising the price, but I know I've talked about this before. Maybe we should start looking at ways to deliver our services in a better manner. So I'd like to include that as part of the formal motion, if I could.
Okay. You want to repeat it? If you would, Councillor Van Passen, repeat that for clerks.
So, and further, that staff investigate other service delivery options which may offer operational efficiencies.
While clerks is getting that lined up, we have already approved the original recommendation, which includes the increase of the fees from last week's meeting. So this is an additional clause asking staff to provide review and oversight.
The motion, it's not been approved, has been pulled. So it is, the full motion would be that report CS 23090. They receive this information, that they implement the revised permits, that they prepare the bylaw, and I'm adding a fourth clause into there. Okay. The whole thing.
So a seconder for that, Councillor Van Andrieschi, is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, clerk, so you okay if I go ahead? All right, with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thanks, Councilor Van Passen. So now we are prepared to approve the council and committee meeting minutes as amended. Correct, moved by Councilor Michele, seconded by Councilor Duffy. All in favor? Carried. Next up, reports of committee of the whole. 9.1 public hearing committee meeting minutes from May 2nd, 2023, and 9.2 public hearing committee meeting minutes from June 6, 2023. Is there a mover and seconder to approve them as presented? Moved by Councilor Berry, seconded by Councilor Huffman. All in favor? That is carried. Reports of Advisory Committee. 10.1 Norfolk County Public Library Board, March 22nd, 2023. 10.2 Library Board, April 26, 2023. 10.3 Police Service Board, April 26, 2023. Unless any member of the of council wishes to pull any of the recommendations listed in those, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder to receive all three as information. Moved by Councilor Brunton, seconded by Councilor Van Andriesch. Second to review in case there's anything. And with that, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay, staff reports. 11, where are we starting here? We've got Community Development Division, 11.2.1 CV 23051 County Initiated Zoning Bylaw Amendment Applications at MPL 2023-090. Mr. Sloan.
Thank you and good afternoon through Madam Mayor. So the recommendation before council is to approve a county initiated zoning amendment to establish a holding provision on land in the Port Rowan water servicing area while an infrastructure project is underway over the next 2 years. The infrastructure works will result in additional capacity, and until such time as that's available, new development will have some limitations. There are a number of public comments and questions received, which are all addressed in the staff report with a specific response. We did outline at the June 6th public hearing committee for this item and in the recommended bylaw that there's a number of developments or permits that are underway that they can proceed. Development applications can also continue to a certain point. And as we move forward with the treatment plant work, leak detection work as well, and adjusting the water hauling temporarily, we'll continue to review and confirm if any additional capacity may be available over the next 2 years. And just so it's clear, lifting of the holding provision can be done via staff delegation once our ENIS staff give us the green light. So this is an appropriate approach for openness and transparency for existing and any future property owners. And using the tool is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to our official plan. So we're recommending approval. And here for us, if there's any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions for staff? Councilor Michele.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have this one question about the responses to some of the questions from the public, Mr. Sloan, with regard to how much water is lost. We lose approximately 93,000 cubic meters per year. It says it's unaccounted for. Does that mean actually it's lost, or is that? I'm just curious about how that figure is arrived at, because it looks to be about half of what we actually do.
To the chair, and we'll look to my colleague to assist with this. But yeah, there is a fairly large quantum of water that's unaccounted for, and I know our staff had flagged this, and council was good to help us move forward with leak detection. And that is a pretty critical thing here to help us out with the possibility of accounting for it if there are any measures to do so in these next 2 years, which would help the situation in Port Rowan. It is a fairly large quantum. I don't know if Mr. Grice wants to add any more intel to that, but I think it was flagged in past reports, quite a high percentage.
Certainly, and through the mayor, I apologize, I don't have the stats in front of me, but you are correct. It is a large volume of water. I think our water loss in the Port Rowan system is upward of 37 to 40%, which is extremely high. We are proactively working on our leak detection program. We have retained our staff member, and we are looking to pilot our program in late July. And certainly we're going to be starting in the Port Rowan area because that's where we think we're going to see the biggest return on our investment. So we'll certainly be reporting back with any issues that we find and corrected what that translates to into savings. And as Mr. Sloan alluded to, if we can save water that was wasting it, that could certainly open up for future developments.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate that. And the only other comment I would make, Madam Mayor, if I can, I just think that this is an excellent compilation of the answers to those public comments and questions. I don't recall actually too many circumstances like this where we had that many public questions, and they're all answered so thoroughly and so effectively. So I do definitely want to extend my compliments to staff on a very good job. Thank you.
Councillor Brunton and Bandit Sheik.
Yeah, just quickly, thank you, Mayor Martin, to you, to Andrew. Andrew, I think we spoke about this some time ago. Do we have any combined sewers still in, let's say, Port Rowan or Port Dover that you're aware of? Or?
So through the mayor, no, we have a completely separated sewer system here. On the flip, so we're talking about leak detection. On the flip side of that is inflow and infiltration, which makes its way into our sanitary system. We do have very high I&I in Port Dover, and that is our biggest focus area. So there may be something going on there, but no, we have a completely separated sewer system here in Norfolk County.
Thank you.
Bandit Sheik.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. My question is concerning the bulk water. It's indicated here that they would have to go to Delhi to fill up the truck. Is there any other areas that they can also draw water from, or that we have the infrastructure that's there, the same as in Port Rowan?
So through the mayor, we do have bulk filling stations within all of our drinking water systems. So they certainly have access to fill up in Simcoe as well. Certainly the Port Dover one is also not open for business. It's next steps as we unleash more capacity there, but they're not restricted purely to Delhi. That just seemed like the closest proximity, but certainly there's other options there for them.
Any other questions to staff? Seeing none, I would also note that the two deputations that came forward at the public hearing meeting, and we requested that they follow up in writing so that they have their questions. If they did that, staff have responded. So if they're not directly addressed in the report, they've already connected the staff as well. Okay, well, we have a staff recommendation in front of us. Is there a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Michelle, seconded by Councillor Barry. Discussion, debate, all in favor? That's carried. Thanks very much. Nothing from ENIS and nothing from operations. Corporate Service Division 11.5.1 request for closure and conveyance of King Street, Plan 48B, Wyndham, Norfolk County. Ms. Van Dyke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Kelly Derbyshire from Realty Services is here, and she will present this report.
Thank you, Heidi. Good afternoon, Mayor Martin and members of council. Report CS 23-062 is being presented to council in follow-up to report CS 22-168 presented at the Public Hearings Committee meeting of October 5th, 2022. The 5 applicants are requesting the permanent closure and conveyance of King Street, Plan 48B, Wyndham, adjacent to their properties. This report recaps the nature of the request by the applicants, along with additional related details. The applicants have all been advised that they will be responsible for all costs associated with the closure and conveyance process. No further inquiries were received from the public or adjacent owners with regards to the proposed road closure. Engineering and realty staff did meet with one of the applicants regarding concerns over the daylighting triangle requirement. Engineering staff ultimately determined that the requirement can be removed as noted in the report. Staff will work with the property owners and their solicitors to complete this transaction in accordance with our policy. Thank you, and staff will take any questions that council may have.
Thanks very much. Questions? Councilor Manager Sheik.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and through you. How does one determine when we look at the pricing? How did you recommend the valuation of 13,000 when we have a range between 12 and 18?
Through the chair, great question. So council approved standard valuations based on periodic valuation staff reports. The last report, CS 21-70, established values as of January 1st, 2022. So the valuations were determined in consultation with BC appraisals. So we have set valuations for road allowances, streets, alleys, and lanes. We do urban versus rural. We're given a scale, and it was approved to go somewhere in the middle for our standard valuations at that time.
Thank you. I'm just pleased to see that there is some research done to come up. It's not just arbitrary that I picked 15 or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay, staff recommendations before you. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Banadrishi, seconded by Councillor Huffman. And call the question. All in favor? Carried. 11.6. 11.6.1, which is CAO 23079 flag and proclamation policy update. I'm not really sure that we need to pass this one. Did I miss it? Oh, I'm sorry, I did. 11.5.1 CS 23093 request for closure and conveyance of Part Stevens Road Plan 461 Port Dover.
Thank you. Through the chair, report CS 23-093 is being presented to council and follow up to report CS 23-061 presented at the Public Hearings Committee meeting of May 2nd, 2023. The applicant, Mr. DeYoung, is requesting the permanent closure and conveyance of the unopened portion of Stevens Road, Plan 461 Fort Dover, adjacent to his property. This report recaps the nature of the request by the applicant along with additional related details. Again, the applicant has been advised that he will be responsible for all costs associated with the closure and conveyance of the road. No further inquiries were received from the public or adjacent owners with regards to the proposed road closure. Staff did reach out again to the adjacent property owner to the east following the Public Hearings Committee meeting to ensure they were not interested in putting forth an application at this time and received confirmation of same. Staff will work with the property owner and his solicitor to complete this transaction in accordance with our policy. Thank you, and staff will take any questions that council may have.
Thank you very much. Questions on this one? Okay, mover and a seconder of the recommendation, moved by Councillor Berry, seconded by Councillor Duffy. All in favor? Carried. 11.6.1 CAO 23079, flag and proclamation policy update. So there have been no changes to this report. So with that, I'll open it up on the floor for council. Okay, mover and seconder for the moved by Councillor Berry, seconded by Councillor Duffy. Discussion. Councillor Van Passen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to put forth one small little amendment to that motion. To amend the policy, item number 3.4B, second bullet point, and change the word for to the word in. So that it would read that the pride flag will be flown in the month of June. Or
Is that the only month that you'd like to identify that change in? Is that the only month that you would like to identify?
yeah, that makes it consistent with the other month, United Nations flag is still, you know.
Understood. It already reads as needed. Okay. Councillor Michelle.
And Mary, I was just about to mention that point that October already has it.
Okay. So there is an amendment on the floor that seems less contradictory to the original motion. Is anyone willing to entertain seconding that? Seconded by Councillor Banadrishi. So suppose I could have asked the mover and seconder if they were open to that to make it a little less complicated. Instead of voting twice. Are the mover and seconder open to that friendly amendment? Or we can put the amendment on top of the motion and vote on both of them if you prefer.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I think I might direct this to the CAO then. So through you, can I ask just what staff's practice would be in the execution of that? with that change. So I guess tell me, how do we execute the flown in October related to the United Nations?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I believe the recommended change or the suggested change is consistent with the policy, as we would with any other flag. If it's flown in the month, if we have a competing request for some flag space in that month, we would drop the flag that was up for the month. We would fly the other flag for the day or two, whatever the request was. And then when that flag would come down, we would continue to fly the same flag for the balance of the month unless there were some other competing requests. And it is consistent with the policy. And so staff have no concerns with what's been suggested.
Thank you. And then regards to the friendly amendment, I don't have a problem. I'm good with that too.
Okay, and one additional question, to you, Mr. Menezes. If we received a request from a flag to be flown in the month of June for 25 days, then what would the position be? Alternate flag.
So through you, Madam Mayor, I think the policy goes on later in the policy to talk about how we would confirm exactly who would get space and for what time. We would speak to the individuals. And I believe between the clerk, yourself and myself, we would determine who would get to fly the flag on what date specifically. So we would confer, we would arrive at a solution, and we would make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be displayed on the flag.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Van Passen, are you okay if I just pretend I didn't move and second your amended motion and we have your preferred motion on the floor by the mover and seconder? There's one vote instead.
Or you could just do it as an amendment to the motion.
So you want your name on it? Is that's?
No, I don't
'Cause
care.
we can vote once.
If the mover and seconder are happy with that, I'm fine.
They are?
Yeah.
So we can vote once? Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead with that. Councillor Berry?
Yeah, I just have a question about just generally the flags, and so I understand the Canadian flag, Canada flag, everything else. We've had that flag up for a bit. Is there a policy that covers that one?
A great question, actually, because I think that was a separate motion of council. Community member let us borrow that flag from a specific Ukrainian member that lived in Norfolk County. I don't know that it does.
For you, Madam Mayor, I'm not sure it does either. We're talking about the community flagpole. I think at the time the Ukrainian flag was flown at the request of what was happening geopolitically. We didn't have a community flagpole at the time. And so when we had other requests, we thought we would honor what was happening with the original request and just fly that flag here until the conflict was completed or until we had a request to take it down. But really what we're talking about here is just the community flagpole.
Understood. I thought now was the time to ask the question, because I mean, it's been here since this term started, so predates my time here, and that's 7 months. So if we're concerned about competing requests, is that additional will help us solve some of that, I guess, is what I'm wondering.
You, Madam Mayor, I mean, it's all subject to council, and your direction policy right now is silent on flag in council chambers. We thought we would do that just as we said about the conflict that was happening. But if council would like, we can certainly take that back. Our preference would be not to fly any flags in the chambers, specifically, and not open some additional opportunities for controversy and whatnot. But we believe that the community flagpole will suffice going forward, and we will have everyone have an opportunity to fly for the flags as long as it's consistent with the policy. But we can certainly take a look at this in the Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Maybe Genevieve, when you get some time, you could go back and look at that motion and just remind council how it reads. And I would tend to agree with the CAO. I don't think we need to fly flags in here, but I originally moved that motion. So I think the reason why we determined it was coming inside was because it was specific to a Ukrainian family that had lived in Port Dover, and the gentleman went back home and was actually fighting on the front line. So I think that's why we gave that special consideration, but I don't recall how the motion read and if it had an end date. Good point. Okay, so we have a motion that's moved and seconded on the floor to make a slight amendment to section 3.4B. Is there any discussion, debate? Councilor Shelley, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So just for clarity, so that if a community group were to approach the county to put a flag up in October or June, the CEO would make a determination about the fairness of that request. It would go up for a week initially, and they would have to make a further request to have it up for a longer period of time. Is that correct?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I believe the process would be that I would confer with our clerk and with our mayor. We would speak to the group who's making the request. We'd get some details around that. We would confirm that the request is consistent with our policy. There's some do's and don'ts and some different things that we would apply in terms of evaluating the request, and assuming that it complies to our policy, then we would make a determination on how the flags would fly and for what duration during that month.
Thank you very much. And Madam Mayor, just one quick small thing for the clerk. If she could correct spelling of remembrance as the last bullet point in section 3.4.
Okay. I'll just provide a few comments. I'll be supporting the motion. I think that we got a little bit carried away last week and we're back on track, which is nice. But I also want to take a moment and recognize that specifically Pride Month, because it's been talked about considerably, I fully support raising it. I fully support raising it for the entire month. That is an initiative I'm proud of here at the county and look forward to continuing to do. But that being said, this is a reasonable amendment to support any other type of flag or community initiative that comes forward. And Councillor Van Passen's amendment is going to allow to have those other flags be given consideration. So I think we've landed on a good spot, and I thank Councillor Huffman for the deferral and the healthy debate and the final outcome here. So with that, I will call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much, staff, for your work on that. Tracy and others. So we are going to jump over to the bylaws, but before we do that, we have an addition. Maybe we'll just take a 10-minute break or so. It's 1:30. Let's come back at 1:40 and we'll jump back into our bylaws, our motions, and then closed session. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead, Councilor Van Passen.
We actually do all of the bylaws before we have the closed session.
Should we do them before?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can in 10 minutes.
but we haven't discussed
That's why
a
we're taking
couple
a
of
break.
the bylaws.
That's why we're taking a break. You have some paperwork on your table and I want to make sure council has a good opportunity to read it before we pass the bylaw. Okay, 10 minutes. Thanks. Okay, thanks, staff and council. We are going to reconvene from our break with item 12, bylaws. And I'm hoping that you're all up to speed with your paperwork on the desk and we know what's open and closed. Okay. Item 12.1. Genevieve, do you need me to read these all off for the public record, or can I just identify the bylaw number or?
Through you, Mayor, we could have a motion to approve the following bylaws or read them the first, second, and third final time. Bylaw 2023-43 to bylaw 2023-50 inclusive and bylaw 2023-52.
Thank you very much. Is there a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Van Andriesch, second by Councillor Michelle. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, motions, actually. May I pass the chair to you, Deputy Mayor Van Andriesch? Have a motion on the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is a motion. Mayor Martin, if you'd like to move the following.
Thank you very much. Because my voice is a little cracky today, everybody have it in front of them, or would you prefer for me to read it out?
I think it's in the document. I think it's just fine the way it is. As everybody taking a look at it, please.
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
perfect.
And as a reminder, this is as it relates to our speed enforcement and the community enforcement zones, where municipalities are only eligible to place any speed enforcement cameras in the community safety zones. And it's an effort to lobby the government to allow us to revisit through the Highway Traffic Act where we could place automated speed enforcement infrastructure.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I get a seconder for Mayor Martin's motion? Seconded by Councillor Breton. Any further discussion on Mayor Martin's motion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? It is carried. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we have no notices of motion. Is there any other business, general announcements? Councillor Breton?
Mayor Martin, I had a couple of issues, not issues, but things I'd like to bring to people's attention. One is finally they have moved it. The mailbox on Donnelly Drive between Crescent. It's a circle. That mailbox was, I'll use the word, a thorn in the side of a lot of people out there for safety reasons. So I was advised yesterday that it has been moved. People in that area are happy. The other one I was going to ask a question about is we had a memo in our mail about impact, and I wonder if anybody from staff could maybe help clarify where impact is at with I guess the new assessment. I understand it may take place next year now. Is that correct? Can somebody speak to that? It was a memo we received in our mail. I don't know who to direct that question to.
Through you, Madam Mayor, Amy Fanning's joined us virtually and she can provide an update with council.
Thanks, Al, and through the chair to Councillor Breton, I haven't heard anything from MPAC in regards to the date changing yet, so I haven't received notification myself. Was the notice that you received, is that part of the council agenda for today?
No, it was a memo in the mail, and it referred to a lot of new assessment that is, I assume, within the province. But I just wonder where we're at here and what the intentions are of the province. You've heard nothing, I take then?
No, not yet. Through the chair to Councillor Breton, I've been in touch with our reps at MPAC and they are waiting for notification from the province. They're trying to remain ready. They're trying to put some educational information out on their website and trying to stay up to date on things as best as they can, waiting until the province gives them the go-ahead to change that date. But I can follow up with our rep and just double check that there's been no no change to that status, and I can provide some information to council.
Thank you.
Any other? Councilor Michelle.
Madam Mayor, are we at general announcements now? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I think we have I have put other business and general announcements together, so go for it.
Thank you. I have actually a couple of announcements. Firstly, there was a request by the Port Rowan Legion to have the a walkway put in to access the cenotaph in Port Rowan. And that I'm happy to report that that has been done. And I just want to give a shout out to our operations department. When the request was made, actually the Port Rowan cenotaph is the only cenotaph that in Norfolk, Canada that doesn't have a dedicated walkway to access it. Only stairs, which is a very difficult mobility issue for a lot of elderly people. Anyway, the staff had mentioned that they were going to do their best to try to have the walkway installed by Remembrance Day for 2023. And I'm very happy to report that it's already done. It's there. It is really impressive. So I just want to give compliments to our operations staff for getting that done in such a timely manner and in such an effective way. Second thing is this Sunday on the 25th, the Long Point Lions are holding their annual classic car show. And it's a great opportunity to see some really nice vehicles and also to have a nice day out. There's food and all kinds of activity going on in and around Port Rowan on that day. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Michelle. Anyone else? I was hoping there's something happening on the weekend.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. There will be a big event in Waterford on this Sunday. Actually, it starts on Saturday. The practice runs for the Dragon Boat races will take place on Saturday. And then on Sunday, starting at 8:45 in the morning, there is a group that includes myself and Mayor Martin and other staff. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, so I didn't want to leave anyone out. We put together a dragon boat team called the Norfolk Ninjas, and we will be racing our first race at 8:45. This is an amazing community event. The funds stay directly within our community. It is a fundraiser, and it would be great to see it supported and everybody out and about in Waterford on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anything from staff? Hands for council? Okay. Closed session. We have two closed session items. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder for the following motions that council enter into closed session at 1:49 p.m. pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239(2)(b) and D to discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee, and labor relations or employee negotiation. Moved by Councillor Duffy, seconded by Councillor Breton. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, we'll return.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series about people who live in Norfolk. People that get involved in our community, people that are passionate about living here. We sit down, have a conversation, and learn about their stories. Welcome to Passionate Folks. I am Emily. I I love to connect with people. I love to ask questions and get to know people better. So today I'm sitting here with Scott. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So Scott, to start, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and where you live?
My name's Scott McCrae. I'm a chef here in Norfolk County. I'm the chef at David's Restaurant in town, and I live in Port Dover, or just outside. And yeah, all my family's from Port Dover. I moved here in high school and left for a bit and moved back, and now
Made it your home.
Made it my home. Yeah, it was my home before. I realized it was my home while I was away, and yeah.
Came back to the roots.
Yes, exactly.
So as I do with every guest, I ask you to pick a place in Norfolk County for us to do this interview.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me where you invited me and why you picked this place.
Well, we're here at Matt's Fruit Barn, just outside of town, and it was a pretty easy choice. I know we wanted something that was kind of related to what I do. We were talking about how diverse Norfolk County is as far as things that grow here, and it's like #1 for so many different fruits and vegetables. And one of the first things I always think about is just, especially considering what job I have, is food. Norfolk County produces so much food and grows so much food. This property here that Christine and Jess and the family have, kind of, they grow more things here than I can even think of. Like, you look
It's a good
around.
representation of Ontario's garden when
Exactly.
you visit this place, isn't it?
Yeah. This is kind of just like a little example of what this area has to offer.
So I love to dig in people's passion and see what lights them up. And I'd love to know about you. I think I may have a little bit of an idea, but what are you most passionate about?
That's a tough one. I think definitely I'm passionate about food and what I do. That's something that since I was young, I've always associated memories. Like a lot of people with songs or with like smells or things, it'll just trigger a memory. And a lot of my early childhood memories have to do with food. There'll be a weird little thing that I remember, like, oh, that was my first like black olive I ever had, or that was like, there's a lot of memories that kind of are associated with that.
Big connections to
Big
food
ones,
and
yeah. Like
stories.
the mulberry tree in my grandparents' backyard, and we just stand for hours underneath just like eating mulberries. And
So I know you work long hours. It's a busy season for you in the restaurant. When you have some downtime, where do you like to go in Norfolk? Where do you like to have a good time?
well, I'm lucky that all my family lives here. I moved away for a while. I moved to the city. I was in Yukon for a bit. Just being back and being able to see family is I don't get to see them enough still, but it's definitely a big reason why I came back, and something I like to do. Friends too, just hanging out on local patios or at their house or watching Leafs games. Well, I've always been kind of, from my grandma when I was a kid, I got really into like birds. Yeah, so I mean, there's binoculars in the truck right now with the bird
Like
book.
go to Long Point or what? is
Well,
your
of course, like that's Long Point. Well, around here, like I'm lucky I live out of town. You can drive out and see the tundra swans at Long Point when they come through. It's really a mecca for that if you're into that. I'm a bit of a weird, obsessive record collector, and I've got a lot of records.
Do you like to see live music around? Is there
of course.
decent bands that are around that you like to?
Oh, tons. Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's great. I mean, like a lot of my friends are musicians, and there's not a ton of downtime, but when there is, it's like sometimes just things that are just nice and relaxing. It always helps when you have like a local brewery.
And there's a lot to pick from. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones. It's really exploded, especially since I moved back from Toronto about 10 years ago, and even in that time, it's the wine scene, the beer scene, the ciders, like all that has just exploded, and it's all really good. Like,
So do you think, like, just back to the winery and the brewery, like, after high school and when you wanted to leave and get to the city and get out of here and coming back and finding it like right here?
Well, even when I originally moved back, I was intended on going back to the city, and I came back and just realized that this is where I wanted to be. This is where my heart is. This is where I really belong, and I have friends there, but the friends that I have here are friends I've had since I was like in high school, right? So there's something there where
We live in a pretty cool place.
yeah, it's great.
I thank you so much for your time. I love connecting with you and learning about your passions, so I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks.
Welcome to Passion
My name is Jim Toombs. I'm an Associate Purchasing Specialist here at Toyotetsu, also known as TTCA. Here at Toyotetsu, we're responsible for supplying Toyota with car parts, mainly automotive frame for the Lexus, the Corolla, and other Toyota models. I started here in May of 2016. I was in welding. Here I am 2 years later, and I'm a salaried position. The job itself it's challenging. There are challenges in what I have to do every day, and for that I enjoy it. It's not monotonous day in, day out. There's new challenges that I'm confronted with and new tasks that I have to do. A high school student who's like, I'm not sure, I think this is an excellent opportunity to kind of answer that question for themselves. They can see what kind of the working world is like, as well as pick up skills. There are plenty of opportunities here. For example, for me, I was in welding, but that didn't mean I had to stay there. There's opportunities in stamping, where you'd learn different skills entirely. PC, again, the same thing, some different skills needed that you'd learn. Though we make car parts and they're welded, there are a lot of departments and areas that support that.
My name's Aaron Pace. I'm a yard manager here at Townsend Lumber. We're a sawmill that produces lumber. We make anywhere from rail ties to timber frame home products, kill-dry lumber, which is used for wood cabinets and furniture. We also do pallet components, and we also do stakes for farming. We ship container loads to the Middle East, we ship it to Asia. We have gone to Mexico, Singapore. We've shipped to many different locations. My father has worked here for 30 years. He got me a part-time job as a summer student. I started as a regular piler, as a laborer at the entry-level position. And with hard work and dedication, I've been promoted through the system, and it took 9 years to become a supervisor. I enjoy the freedom of the job, like outside working with the heavy industrial stuff, talking to the range of customers and the way we produce things for them.
My name is Cam Kirkwood. I'm a production supervisor at Superior Essex in Simcoe. We make magnet wire and cable for the transformer industries. Our magnet wire products are found all around you that most people don't even notice, in winding motors, in alternators in your vehicles, transformers on the side of the road or on top of poles. I've been here at the company for 15 years. I started on the floor as a machine operator for 7 years, and then I did a stint in engineering for about a year, and then I moved on to production supervisor for the last 7. One of the best parts about working here is it is a build-to-order shop, so although we do make the similar products every day, it's very unique. We don't always see the same orders. There's always new challenges. One of the best parts about being in manufacturing for me is the shift work. So it provides an opportunity for you to adjust to do your own life on your days off, or you can pursue other interests. A lot of people have second businesses or hobbies that they really enjoy. There is lots of opportunity to advance. There's educational assistance programs. You can continue to learn new skills and advance to a new area if you were so desire.
There's a great opportunity moving up the manufacturing sector.
Try it, because you're going to learn a lot about the working world as well as yourself.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series where I'll be highlighting people from Norfolk County who have a passion, who are involved in our community, who are the movers and shakers. So I'm excited to introduce every month somebody new from Norfolk that will bring you their story, their passion, and share it all with us. Come on in. All right, welcome to the first episode of Passionate Folks. I'm Emily, and I love to dig in people's life and getting to know more about them. I'm here with Jess today. Thanks, Jess, for showing up.
Thank you for having me. This
Yes.
is so exciting.
So just for the people that don't know you, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit more about you and the person that you are.
Sure. Well, my name's Jess, and I grew up in Waterford, more specifically Boston, more specifically Bill's Corners. I'm a passionate Norfolk advocate. I love this area. I love theater, I love music, I love anything arts related. Also a passionate advocate for entrepreneurs in the area.
So I invite you to pick a location in Norfolk that meant something to you. So tell us where we are and why you picked this place.
All right, we are here in Simcoe Little Theater. It's on the corner of Talbot and Yonge in downtown Simcoe. And this place, Simcoe Little Theater, is a very special place to me. I spent most of my life in these walls, on that stage, behind the stage, in these seats, like everywhere in this space. It's something that theater is something that's like has always been a big part of my life since I was about 8 years old.
You mentioned to me that you also in high school, you were really involved into the drama program and all that, so.
I had walked the halls of my high school and I had seen so many pictures on the wall of different shows they had done throughout the years, but nobody was doing shows anymore. And I was like really bummed about that. So in grade 10, me and my girlfriends, we roped all our moms in. We're like, if we start doing high school shows, like, will you guys help? Will you make costumes? Will you whatever? And they all jumped in.
Involved.
Yeah.
I love that, right? Like that's a small community, like
that's
everybody
it.
coming in together.
And like, that's what it requires, right? Like a show is like a mini village coming together, like making all the pieces happen.
So this community, I think the word, like you keep repeating it, and I think what you're creating in Groundswell is that sub-community within the community, and that really stands out. So would you say this is something that you're really passionate about?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes, that connection,
Totally.
right? Yeah.
I just think like community is everything. We're not meant to live life alone. I don't think. And I don't mean like you have to necessarily have a romantic partner to live a life, but just have people around you that get you. That you don't have to explain yourself. You know what I mean? You just walk in the room and they're happy to see you. That's it.
That's always such a good feeling. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, like you just have those people that believe in you too, right?
Yeah.
And just cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So I see, Jess, you're always involved in this community. Like you're volunteering places. You really want this place to grow and thrive. And so why Norfolk? And what do you love so much about this place?
Oh man, I think yeah, it's a really good question. It's a combination of things. I think the geography that we live in, the nature we have around us, that is a huge benefit of being in Norfolk. But it's also the people here, and that's why I'm so obsessed with community, because we have so many beautiful people who live here with ideas, with talents, with love and vision. And I think that's what excites me. It's like, just because we're a small town doesn't mean we have small ideas or small impact.
I want to bring some of the music piece, because I know we've been talking a lot about the theater and acting, but I know that music is so important to you.
Yes.
And a big part of your life.
Yes.
So tell me a bit more about your maybe influences and what makes you feel alive in music.
Just like theater, I love performing music too. There's something really cool about being on stage like that. Before I came here today, I was like thinking about how alive I feel when I'm on stage. And I think that everyone kind of looks for that thing that makes them feel alive. Yeah. So for me, it's that.
Awesome. So I thank you so much, Jess, for taking the time to meet with me. There's going to be more feature of passionate, uplifting community people through this little video series. So keep watching. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. This is so much fun.
Awesome. Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series about the people that live in Norfolk, people that are passionate, people that are involved in our community, people that bring a lot of positivity. This is about story and conversation. Join us for the second guest. Welcome to episode 2 of Passionate Folks. I'm Emily. I love to ask questions, learn about people, get some connections. I'm here with Carrie today.
Thank you for having me.
I've been chatting with you and I got to know you a little bit more, but for folks that don't know you, maybe introduce yourself.
My name is Carrie Bokenholm. I live here in Waterford. I've lived here for over 15 years. I'm married. I got 2 kids, and I just love the community.
From our conversation today, there's a lot of the community word showed up quite a few times. So
I'm a believer of, when I moved into Waterford, I thought, wow, it's, you know what, if we get involved, then you learn so much more and you meet so many different people. I mean, people that I know if I wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yes. So I asked you to pick a location, Carrie, and so tell us where we are and why you picked it.
I picked the Waterford Heritage Agriculture Museum, WHAM, because in a couple summers we will be building our skateboard park here. So it's kind of a let's do a little fun. Not that I wear the shirt or anything, but yes, this will be our future location on the other side.
Talking about passion and passionate people, what do you think your passion is?
My passion is youth. I love kids. You know what? There's no such thing as a bad kid. Kids make bad decisions. And as the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And I truly believe that, you know what? We give kids, that opportunity and show them that we support them and that, that we're there for them and they'll make the right decisions.
I made a stop at her business. She has a business downtown Waterford, and I was seeing that your family works there, your friends, your best friend is...
My best friend is with me. Both best friends, yes.
So this tight-knit community feel is really important.
When I was given my dream and somebody said to me, here, I'll help you, create your dream. And I thought, okay, karma. So this is somebody saying to me, it's my opportunity to use this to give back. If I have a restaurant, nobody should be hungry. I want kids to feel like they can come in and say, I need something or I need a drink or, whatever. I've been doing this for 30 years and the kids that I trained 30 years ago still come back to find me. And they come back and they tell me what they've been doing. And I guess the biggest thing is people don't realize sometimes the simplest thing can change a kid's life.
It is a ripple effect, don't you think?
It is, you know what? And I mean, so I get to see their, I feel old when I start seeing them coming with their kids. And I start seeing, that they've gone through and they're going to university or they're doing this or they've done this or done that. And it makes me feel like, I had a piece of that. Just by being involved in their life, maybe I made a little bit of a difference.
So you're an entrepreneur, you're super involved in the community, you're a mom, you have a lot on the go. So if I ask you, what do you do to de-stress and let go?
I like to go to the gym. I like to, boot camp, yoga. I try to take, a few hours a week for me.
Yes.
And it's just about me. And I honestly think anybody who's really busy, I think needs to learn. It took me 48 years to figure it out. But
never too late.
Never too late. As I said, I can go to the gym and I can be having the world's hardest day, and I always say I leave it on the mat.
Love.
So when I walk out of there, I feel like a completely, totally different person. Leave it on the mat.
So other than that, when you're in Norfolk, what else do you love to do? What's your favorite spot or place that you like to visit or something you love to do?
Love to go on the trails. I love going fishing on the ponds. Waterford, we have so many little places to go and see and do and
What's
stuff.
happening in this community?
You know what, there is. And I mean, the thing is we don't really, I laugh because there's so many of us who don't see what's here. They're right here. I mean, Whistling Gardens, Bonnie Heath. We have all the wineries and stuff. The museum. There's so many places to go. You can have a staycation without leaving Norfolk.
Yes. So thank you so much, Carrie, for joining me today and being part of this blog and video series. I invite you to check it on. Every month there will be somebody new, a new story, a new connection. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Passionate Folks, a blog and video series about the people of Norfolk. People that are involved in our community, people that bring a lot of energy. So this is about a conversation, this is about their story. So welcome to episode 3. Welcome to Passionate Folks. I'm Emily. I love to dig in people's lives, ask questions, and learn about people's passion. Today I'm here with Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hi, how are you doing, Emily?
Great. I'm happy that you're here, taking the time to sit down with me today. So I've known you for a little bit, small community, but people that don't know you. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
So my name's Adam Van Passen. I grew up here in Norfolk County. I was born onto a farm and I got to work on that farm growing up, which was a great learning experience. From a young age, I got to understand what hard work was and what it was to be close to nature. So that was very cool for me. Growing up like that, my dad also was a counselor for Haldeman, Norfolk, and he had a big part in shaping what is today Norfolk County. So I got to see that, and watching him and experiencing him work through that really sparked an interest in me for the county and what it could become.
Correct. So not like the typical kids. We hear most high schoolers like just ready to get out of their hometowns and go explore the city and something else, and it doesn't sound like that's your story.
Not at all. I heard a lot of kids saying that they wanted to move on to bigger, better things, and I just really didn't have that feeling. I always thought the biggest, best things were here in Norfolk to start.
So I asked you to pick a location today, and you bring me to a place that I don't know very well in Norfolk. Yeah. So tell me about where we are and why you picked it.
This is a very cool spot. I know a lot of people drive by it, maybe on their way to Long Point or into Port Rowan, but this is Boose Harbor. So I grew up on Boose Harbor. My best friend, his family owned this place. So I grew up here hanging out, relaxing, boating, going out fishing, going out hunting. I worked here for a while. I did some volunteer work for the Shriners Club here, doing some chicken barbecues. So I really got to experience Norfolk and how community comes together. There's a lot of people that take up their summer residence here in trailers, and it's very cool to see all these people that are coming from other places in Ontario to enjoy what Norfolk has to offer.
Okay, we are back. I'm looking for a motion to reconvene. And open session at 2:13 p.m. Moved by Councillor Duffy, second by Councillor Banandrishi, all in favor. That is carried. And Madam Clerk, can I get you to? Oh, I've got them all here. I don't need you to do it. The following matters were addressed in closed session. Item 17.1, CAO 23C20, negotiated settlement between QP 4700 and Norfolk County. That staff report CAO 23C20, negotiated settlement between the Corporation of Norfolk County and the Canadian Union of Public Employees Local 4700 for the term January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2026 be received as information, and that a bylaw be passed authorizing the mayor and clerk to sign the collective agreement on behalf of the Corporation of Norfolk County. Moved by Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Banandrishi, all in favor. Carried. And we need to appoint one member of council to the following committees: Sustainability Advisory Committee, Economic Development Advisory Committee, and Recreation and Park Advisory Committee. Is there any member of council that's interested in any of those? Councillor Banandrishi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would consider the Committee of Recreation and Park.
Thank you very much. And are these just single council member appointments per? Okay. Is there anyone else interested? Councillor Berry?
That one or another one? I'll take economic development if no one else wants.
Any other interest in economic development? And the last one is sustainability. Councillor Van Passen is available.
I believe I was on both the committees before that have been rolled into that. More than happy to serve, continue serving in that capacity.
Thank you for being a team player. Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands, any competition for any of those. Final call. All right, so mover and a seconder that would appoint Councillor Banandrishi to Parks and Rec, Councillor Berry to Economic Development, and Councillor Van Passen to Sustainability Advisory Committee. Moved by Shelley, seconded by Councillor Duffy. All in favor? Thank you very much. Sorry, and then I guess a separate motion would be to that Norfolk County Council approve the appointments of Amelie Chanda, Valerie Hickey, Carla Falk, Timothy Salvatore, and Wesley Wilson, those 4 members, to the Sustainability Advisory Committee for terms expiring November 30th, 2026. And that staff be directed to proceed with the recruitment for the remaining vacancies of the Sustainability Advisory Committee with a focus on the agricultural and industrial sectors in the fall of 2023 in conjunction with the recruitment for the Ag Advisory Board. And further, that the following, and that's it, period. Moved by Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Van Andriesch, all in favor? That is carried. And confirming bylaw. Bylaw 2023-51 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Norfolk County Council at this regular council meeting held on June 20th, 2023. To confirm the proceedings of council. Moved by Councillor Duffy, seconded by Councillor Michele, all in favor? That is carried. And Councillor Huffman moves a motion to adjourn at 2:17 p.m. seconded by Councillor Duffy, all in favor. Opposed? All in favor. That's carried. Thank you very much, council and staff. We are done for the day.